Hey folks, Chris Vandeviver here from WhyLogicProRules.com, the website that helps you get the most you can out of Apple's Logic Pro 10. Today I want to demonstrate to you a technique that you can use for your own Logic projects that will add ear candy, add spice, add intrigue to help your listener immerse themselves a little more in your projects and productions. I'm especially excited to demonstrate this with this project that you see because it's part of a larger album that my friend Ben and I spent the last year and a half putting together. I know that's crazy, but it's true. It's a rap or hip hop album or a loose interpretation of the two. I'll include the links down below if you're at all interested in hearing it. But the fact is now that this project is finally done, I can demonstrate a lot of the techniques that we use in these productions, a lot of the lessons we learned along the way constructing an 11-song record. So the technique I want to demonstrate to you can be accomplished in two different ways. There's the way that I use, and then there's a more Logic-specific way of managing it. That technique is the use of reverb and delay throws. Now, it's not a new technique. I did not come up with it, but it can be amazing for creating more of an experience in your productions. I believe in this modern age of streaming and Spotify, and everyone is so inundated with music. There's so much music out there now that at this point, the skip button, everyone's pretty keenly familiar with, right? So I now believe that the onus is on us producers and musicians and songwriters to not just write a great song or get great takes, but to create an experience for a listener to immerse themselves in. And this can be accomplished using delay throws or reverb throws. Before I demonstrate that, let's first examine this production. There's 3 choruses for this song, and the first 2 are pretty big, pretty triumphant. Ben, the vocalist, his lyrics were particularly wordy, and I recognize that they're a little wordier for a chorus or a hook. So I thought, how can we make sure that these moments are considered hooks or choruses to the listener? And the way we did this was by adding a lot of backing vocals, a lot of melody to kind of signify, okay, this is the chorus. By the third chorus, though, I didn't want to diminish Ben's lyrics. I didn't want to diminish how much time and effort he spent crafting them. So we strip everything back and it's just Ben and just the drum beat. So let's explore this contrast between the two. Take a listen to the second chorus.
Pull out a Lord in the accelerator. Messy passenger, no room on the floor. Secret shake, peaceful colleague in a mystery machine. Illegal smile, that's a review me. Simple things like last night, customize. Call the right Mercedes-Benz, losing he's not really sleeping right. Red velvet recline, oh the horror. Prophesize carnage at the end of say when exit shot. Black top savant.
Okay, big, triumphant. By the third chorus, though, it's just Ben. And I'm going to mute my delay throw so we can hear this part without the delay. Take a listen.
Whole lot of lore in the accelerator. Messy passenger, no room on the floor. Secret shake, peace Spicoli in the mystery machine. Illegal smile, that's a review me. Simple things like last night, customize. Call the ride Mercedes-Benz, losing he's not really sleeping right. Red velvet recline, oh the horror. Prophesize carnage at the interstate when exit shot.
Cool. I love that part. I love Ben's performance. But I try to put myself in the listener's shoes and think to myself like, okay, what's going to keep the listener around a little longer? Because I feel like after we're a couple lines into this chorus, you know what to expect. We kind of get the picture. So I wanted to create more of a moment. The way I did this was I duplicated the track that my vocals were on. So using Command D, I'm able to make a duplicate channel strip. Then I would select specific moments in this vocal pass. So the last word or phrase or syllable, I would make a marquee selection. And then I would hold Option, click, and drag. It looks like Logic's going to split the region, but instead, it copies that particular section. And from there, I put a delay or reverb on the channel strip. I set the channel strip reverb or delay to 100% wetness or the output mix to 100% because we already have the dry track here. This is the main track. What we want to do is create a new moment, and I want the emphasis to be on the delay or reverb. So before we dig into that, let's just hear what I did with this particular delay throw.
Whole lot of lore in the accelerator. Messy passenger, no room on the floor. Secret shake, peace Spicoli in the mystery machine. Illegal smile, that's a review me. Simple things like last night, customize. Call the ride Mercedes-Benz, losing he's not really sleeping right. Red velvet recline, oh the horror. Prophesize carnage at the interstate when exit shot.
And like that, we add a little more emphasis, a little more atmosphere. To me, the song is about driving in your car, and I sort of get the sense of driving at night, maybe like a David Lynch Twin Peaks type of environment. So to me, it adds more atmosphere. It makes it a little more interesting. I'm trying the best I can to think about the listener experience. But we don't have to use the plugin I used, which was Echo Boy from Soundtoys. The thing to note is that it's a quarter note delay and the mix is at 100%. Usually these effects are something we want to emphasize. We want it to be heard. We want it to be noted. We want it to grab the listener's ear. So let's use the stereo delay. I want to make sure to set this plugin so that's in stereo. And let's set the stereo link here. Make sure everything's at 100%. I'm going to turn this off because I want to set these both to quarter note. Now, one thing to point out with the stereo delay is if you leave it as is, same note value, same deviation, when we play this, it will sound like the stereo delay is in fact in mono. And that's because there's nothing differentiating the left and right sides. To create a little width, I'm going to set the deviation -1 on the left side and +1 on the right side. Now the delay will sound like it's coming from both left and right channels because they're slightly different from each other. So let's take a listen to this. I'm going to bring down the output a little. And now let's hear it.
Whole lot of lore in the accelerator, messy passenger, no.
Cool, and it does exactly that. If we decide that the delay is a little too dry, doesn't have enough vibe to it, we can always add a distortion plugin, set the output.
Whole lot of lore in the accelerator.
And we can play with it from there. So that's the way that I chose to go about this. I would duplicate my channel strip. I would copy a marquee selection of specific words and phrases and duplicate them to that channel strip track, and then I would adjust from there. But perhaps you're a little more confident in the effects that you want to print. So in that case, we can select this particular region and go up to Functions, Selection-Based Processing. And the cool thing here is we can try out different effect chains, see if we're getting the effect we want, and then we can print it and we'll create a new audio file for that particular chain. So you can see I've already loaded the stereo delay and I've already loaded the overdrive plugin as well. So let's test this out. We can preview it by clicking this button here. So it's a little annoying to have the cycle range going in this particular case. So we can actually click on this gear here and turn off the preview enable cycle. And now let's preview it. Okay, we get the idea. That's cool. In this particular case, let's say that we're happy with what these two plugins are introducing. We can hit apply. And now Logic has created a new audio region and file for this particular sound, and it's printed these effects onto the track. We've even added the effect tail because there's a delay. The tail's going to hang around for a bit. So you can enable or disable add effect tail. And if I expand the waveform view, we can see that it's going on for a while. Perhaps you're not too sure if you want to use delay or reverb. So in this particular case, we can open up on the B side, select Space Designer, Stereo Instance, and then we can test drive different channel strip settings. So now let's preview it again. Now, obviously, the delay is on there, so we could back out of this and then add Space Designer. Check it out. But I'm pretty happy with the delay. We can also create a new take, but from here, the creative possibilities are endless. And you don't have to use just vocals. You can add it to cymbals or drum hits or anything you want. But I highly suggest trying out this technique for adding a more immersive experiences to your productions. By the way, if you feel like checking out the album, just check out the links below. The album is Benny Beyond, called All Good. And even if you listen to the first 10 to 30 seconds of each song, that'd be awesome. So I hope that was helpful to you. If it was, as always, I highly suggest subscribing to the YouTube channel, Why Logic Pro Rules, or subscribing on the website itself, whylogicprorules.com. Every week I'm creating new videos, new posts, and new emails to help you get the most you can out of Apple's Logic Pro 10. Thanks so much.